That is Harvard University. Very, very prestigious. Thousands upon thousands of people get in. Only like, what, 2%, 0.5% are admitted? But they got a great big affirmative action program there. Oh, yes, they do. But you know what? Americans hate affirmative action. Overwhelmingly, people don't like folks getting a break for something that they really had nothing to do with, their race. People of all races do not like affirmative action. Poll after poll has shown that. And you know, one group that has been adversely affected by affirmative action, possibly more than any other group, happens to be Asian Americans. Asian Americans, by and large, the numbers back this up, so committed to studying and hard work, yet penalized in so many instances. Our friend Kenny Xu is back. He is the president of Color Us United and the author of An Inconvenient Minority, The Attack on Asian American Excellence and the Fight for Meritocracy. Welcome back, Kenny. And this is a hot issue right now because it's going to the Supreme Court at the end of the month. Can you do us a favor, bring us up to speed on how we got here and what do you think could happen?
I'd love to. So nearly 8 years ago, Students for Fair Admissions, which is made up of rejected Asian college applicants to Harvard University, filed a lawsuit for discrimination against Harvard in the name of diversity, right? In my book, An Inconvenient Minority, I chronicle how left progressives love this term diversity. So willing are they to use this term that they're willing to actually discriminate against Asians to achieve diversity. You see, if Harvard did not discriminate against Asians, Asians would make up about 43% of the university. But because Harvard claims to want a diverse student body, they have to discriminate against Asians and require Asians to get about 270 points higher on the SAT just to have the same chance of admission as a black person. And this is what is being disputed today.
So let's see. The Supreme Court will take this up, I believe, they'll hear arguments at the end of the month, correct?
Yes, they'll hear arguments on October 31st.
Now, Ketanji Brown Jackson, she's on the court. We know she's a liberal. She leans left, and her vote is not necessarily decisive, but she is now opening up now that she's on the court. Let me hear the second 28 soundbite, if you don't mind.
I understood that we looked at the history and traditions of the Constitution, at what the framers and the founders thought about. And when I drilled down to that level of analysis, it became clear to me that the framers themselves adopted the Equal Protection Clause, the 14th Amendment, the 15th Amendment in a race-conscious way.
Our founding fathers were race-conscious. Perhaps they were. What do you make of that statement, and what does it portend?
Yeah, this is the progressive reading of the 14th Amendment. They think that the 14th Amendment means basically we need to give as many rights as possible, specifically to Black Americans, to redress for slavery. And while, I sympathize with that cause, I think that the ultimate purpose of the 14th Amendment is to establish a colorblind America, a colorblind Constitution. We should be removing race from our decision-making wholeheartedly. I think that Justice John Marshall Harlan's dissent in Plessy versus Ferguson, remember, which was an 8-1 decision. He was the only dissenter. He said the Constitution is absolutely colorblind. It does not allow for a race line. And that was him voting against segregation. So I think that if we're going to be an America that truly aligns to the ideals with which we can strive to be a higher order America, we have to eliminate race in our decision making. And Supreme Court cases like this is one of the last vestiges of the legal use of race in decision making, and I think it has to be eliminated.
Asian Americans have been very successful in America. And can you tell us a little bit about, number one, why that is? And number two, what have you incurred as a community as a result of your success?
Absolutely. So Asian Americans are one of the more successful groups in America. And in fact, they're the group that disproves the idea that America is a racist country, right? Because why would a racist country let a minority group coming here with no money succeed, right? It doesn't make any sense under a critical race theory framework. And this is why the left attacks Asian American excellence, which is the thesis of my book, An Inconvenient Minority. The reality is, the reason why Asians are successful in this country has nothing to do with their race. It has everything to do with the fact that Asian Americans study twice as many hours as the average American. They come from stronger two-parent family structures. They have lower rates of crime and lower rates of drug use. Those are the facts. And the left hates this because it shows that culture plays a significant role in your ability to succeed in this country. That is, we are a meritocracy. So they attack this by saying, well, your success is actually privilege. And because you're privileged, we get to discriminate against you in things like college admissions. And that forms the brunt of their case against Asian Americans in this Harvard discrimination case.
Wow. Two more quick things. Anti-Asian violence, it seemed to be on the rise. It also seemed to be exploited by Democrats who liked a certain kind of anti-Asian violence, but not another type. It's very, very strange, the conversation that happened. Is it, in fact, on the rise at this point? And secondly, what are your thoughts about the chances of success for your side in this lawsuit?
Yeah, look, anti-Asian violence has been on the rise, but so is violence against every race, right? Anti-Black violence, anti-white violence. And in fact, what the left likes to do is they like to spin this into a white supremacy narrative because of the Atlanta shooting, which was very tragic. But the reality is, according to the latest FBI data that we have, 28% of the perpetrators against Asian Americans are Black, 25% are white, the rest are other races. So Asians are not a crime or not the victims of white supremacy, so much as they're just the victims of violence the way other people are victims of. So that's why I push back against this attempt to try to tie anti-Asian violence to a white supremacy narrative. Now, in terms of our chances to succeed at the Supreme Court, I think they're high. Even Chief Justice John Roberts said in 2005 that the only way to stop discrimination on the basis of race is to stop discriminating on the basis of race. And I do hope he holds that to be true in this case.
All right, Kenny Xu, many, many thanks. Check out the book and the podcast. How's the podcast, by the way?
Oh, it's great. It's great. You can still get it on Apple, everything like that.
All right, fantastic. President of Color Us United, Kenny Xu, to be continued. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.